So it occurred to me, I was listening to that debate and how, Mikey doesn't like to keep his agreements, stick with the rules, kind of like his boss. And it occurred to me, that moderator of that debate was a girl. And maybe he just doesn't respect women as much as he thinks he does or wants you to think he does. I don't know, just a thought. Also, he was interrupting a woman, the person he was debating, a lot. Hard to think that's not part of it. Maybe not. Regarding cab stands, remember all them numbers? Probably not. You don't need to. I've discovered some others. 6 is Cap and Uni. But we have cab stands that have names. Harry Hill is Harrison and Hill Road. That's mentioned in my poem that I mentioned, Goddess of Strays. The Gem is Garden and Emerald. The Love is Latah and Overland. I think there's one more. Well, I can't think of it. There's probably 3 or 4 more, but I keep hearing them. My new dispatcher, he's the other available cab right now. I met the guy who was the other available cab. Nice guy. Anyway, so this guy switched in, and he doesn't know all the cab stands like I do, so I can probably help him out. I told him I'm standing 13. He didn't know what that meant. I should have volunteered to say I'll tell you the rest, but I'll help him out as I hear him. I'll mention, oh yeah, that's 6 or 3 or whatever, because I like to help people out. I'm so much better at this job because I think, like I said in the episode 1, I love people better. I can empathize better with them and stuff. A lot of it is self-confidence and not being willing to take a crap, give a crap. Let me say that again. It must be getting late. Not willing to take crap off of people. That's what I meant. Yeah. So I will give a great deal of respect and leeway and cab fare and stuff when it's warranted, but people can't take advantage of me because that's happened enough. I've had enough of that by all kinds of people. People who say they love you sometimes. Yeah, they're the worst. Just saying. 3 strikes and I'm out. You see, the majority of the people, I wouldn't say vast majority, but are picking up alcohol and bringing it home. There's a lot of people in pain and addicts. And the same people, because I'm able to talk to them easily and get right to the root, we exchange diagnosis. Almost all of them have a diagnosis or they've been beat up recently by their spouse or just a whole variety of things. I'm an introvert. My husband did this. He had my kids. I'm doing this because my kids, all of that. That's all happening. This is all human. This is your species. Do you care about stuff like this? It's your species. Anyway, I'm saying these alcoholics, they weren't, this is a social problem. It's also a personal problem. They are in a great deal of pain and they don't want to be in pain. We could think of ways to deal with this stuff. Other countries, even some cities in America, land of the free, which incarcerates more people per capita than anybody else, we could figure this out if we just communicate. And good ideas are not a matter of politics. If something is good, if it's right, if it's wrong, who gives a crap what political party you belong to? You do the right thing by people. You be fair. You treat them right. You don't You don't follow party lines that, I agree with them on this, and so therefore I will compromise my principles for the rest of it. What? Is that how free-thinking Americans were? Oh, and one more thing. When this country started, back 200 and some odd years ago, we could coin money. The Romans could coin money. You know what America is so disabled now that we cannot do? Do you know why they ask for exact change at the convenience stores and everywhere else? It's because right now we cannot coin money. So if you want to know how messed up this country is right now, we cannot do what the Romans could do 2,000 years ago. So, does that seem a little serious to you? Speaking of mental illness, which I was earlier, here on 13, there was a woman, been here for at least an hour. She finally left. I hope she's got somewhere warm to go, because she wasn't wearing very warm clothes. And I pulled up beside her with a passenger who needed to go in and buy something not that long ago. Well, about an hour ago. And she was there, looked like she was watching trains go by both directions, standing just right on the sidewalk in front of Jackson's, not standing there watching the road. For a minute I thought she was maybe waiting for a ride, but after a while, and having come back, it's clear she has issues, and I'm glad she's going somewhere. I hope it's somewhere safe and warm. So coming up, not tonight, maybe tomorrow night, I'm going to tell you how I figured out that I was trying to hang with the wrong element, and by picking people who actually are kind and loving and capable of conversations and all of that, led to a resurrection. Not tonight, though. It's 1:14, and I'll just screen capture what me and my dispatcher are about while you're driving by. I don't know, whatever footage I'll put in here at whatever speed. That'll be kind of the fun part. Also a lot easier than you might think. You know, I've got software and hardware that's professional stuff. Pretty much what you see on TV I can do, well, or learn to do. It's more powerful than I need yet, and when I need it, I learn it. I do that with everything, by the way. If you need me to teach you something that I would want to know anyway, I'll learn it and then teach it to you. I'm good at that. And I benefit. Knowledge is power and something. I've always thought that way. I've said it somewhere else, but I'll save you trying to look for a video I can't think of the name of. But anyway, when I was a kid, about 12 maybe, I heard the term Renaissance man, and I thought, man, that sounds like a superhero. So I looked it up, and you look it up to see the full meaning, but it's somebody who specializes in a lot of things. And I thought, yeah, that's the kind of superhero that I want to be. I've always been that way. I mean, people say, why do you watch commercials? And it's like, man, I am getting tips on what people think that they speak to. I picked up Steve, who I picked up in episode 1 or volume 1, whatever I'm going to call it, the news guy, and he said that they taught him to speak to people with fifth graders. That's who they are communicating with, because sad to say, I would guess that's the intelligence level that they also want to include among the smart people. And smart people watch those commercials and are not insulted. How do they pull that off? Well, I know, but I won't tell you because I'm in marketing. I just won't use it against you. I promise. So when I put together episode 1, I was surprised that I had like an hour and 6 minutes of video. Now, I don't remember if that's before or after I edited out the pauses and crap, but there wasn't much of that because I know how to run my neck. So I have no idea how long this will be, but it'll be one per night, every night that I can. So on that, last night, no, a couple of nights ago, could have been last night. I forget. They all run together. Yeah, it was last night. That's why I feel so good. I got 7 hours of sleep because, going back in time, I started about 1. By 8 o'clock, I was getting angry with people over things that taxi drivers should not get angry over. If I've told this again, I'll edit it out or it'll be more interesting. Anyway, yeah, I was getting angry, so I timed out early. And if 8 o'clock, so I gas up the car and I go back and I swap out for my car and I head for Nampa, where I'm couch surfing, more or less, in a basement. Halfway there, I was thinking, man, I need to pull over maybe and get a nap because, I was on the nods, but I didn't. I think I was on the safe side because, slapping your own face hard, that really does work. And you keep the windows down, get all the cold air in case you're in this situation. And if you do need to pull over where it's safe somewhere, whether that seems like in the dark or in a well-lit area, and sleep. That's whether you're intoxicated or just tired, whatever it is. If you're stupid enough to drive halfway home and figure it out, pull the hell over. Because, like I was telling somebody earlier, people compete in their heads between being polite and being stern. Well, I don't think it's impolite to say, buddy, you could kill a freaking child. Does that seem impolite? If so, you maybe want to consider what your priorities are. That's all I'm saying. Call a cab, call Uber, walk. Don't drive. Come to think of it, sorry it took me 20 seconds to think of the obvious, just sleep in your car, make sure the back seat's clear. You don't want to live like a tramp anyway, and just sleep in your freaking car. That's, your cell phone's on. When they miss you, they'll call. Easy. So I just went into the Jacksons here to swap fluids, and consumer alert. Oh, well, first. No, let's do that later. Consumer alerts. You used to be able to buy a cup of coffee or whatever. You can put any of the chocolate drinks or anything. They don't care what's in the cup for the price of the cup, which was reasonable because you could get a banana with it. Well, now, any size hot drinks, 99 cents. And I think the cold drinks are on sale too. I didn't pay attention. I bought mine elsewhere. But anyway, that's a consumer alert. Now, swapping fluids. What is it with people that are so proud of what they leave behind they cannot flush? Or does your mom work in that store? And if so, how come you didn't tell her? I mean, what is wrong with people? It's the same thing as blowing lights and not masking. They don't care. They live and they're free to leave their shit for somebody else to have a peek at. They're so proud. God, mental illness. Jeez. So it's 2:33 and I'm waiting at Vista and Overland, much closer to the Flying J. If I get any more work, I'll get a phone call, probably a text or phone call in the next 15. I had 2 runs, which demonstrates why I feel, well, the first one, that story I'll save till last, because it's the best. Anyway, which demonstrates why I feel responsible to be one of the 2 cab drivers available out late at night, and a good reason to stand on 13. Easy to get everywhere, in case you didn't get the answer before. Excuse me. So the guy I just now dropped off, he's a professional gambler. He's from here, but he's been all over the world. He won thousands of dollars, and we discussed technology. But I picked him up at one of the exotic places, and he needed food on the way home. I used to mind that. I don't care anymore. I run the timer. It's not my problem if somebody's waiting, one customer at a time. Anyway, so we go through McDonald's, and they got some deal where you have to download the McDonald's app to get it. Some ice cream thing. And he starts to download it and decides he's not going to. He's just going to tell them, he says, that he's downloaded it and he'll get it, and then they can go, or we can go. And I said, I don't think this is going to work. Now, see, he's good at cards, and he told me that it's because of the psychology. He knows people. He reads blah, blah, blah. And I said, I don't think that's going to work, because I too understand people, but I also understand technology. And as I explained to him, I had used the McDonald's app and it was buggy, too buggy for having been out so long, so I quit using it. I don't screw around with stuff like that. Don't need it. So that's on McDonald's. Down for you. Wait for the upside. Anyway, I understand technology, and they need a code that from his thing. They need to show a code, and he was going to talk him into, and I will speak to the manager then, blah, blah, blah. Well, the manager, took enough of his explanations and guff, and then he had obviously grown a pair. The manager at the McDonald's on Vista, good for you, buddy. He said, what are you trying to be funny? If you don't want to pay for the food, you can leave without the food. And I thought, yeah, good for you, bud. I don't take it either. So, yeah, he lost that because he didn't get the technology part. He had the psychology maybe, except I don't think he would have won with this one. No, so McDonald's, you got a good night guy who was manager for the minute or whatever, however that works. We all know. Well, I think they actually do have real managers. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, yeah, good on you. All right, now if I have a minute, another few maybe. Wally. See, we get a lot of repeat customers, and earlier I picked up Wally. I take him where his friends are. That's another reason people go out to drink. That's where their friends are, and if they don't, that's where they're going to meet friends. So here's something about people who turn into alcoholics. That's where their friends are or can meet, and I don't go to bars to meet friends, but I know where you can't make them now. I know. I've written about that other places. I won't give you a hint here. Anyway, but he had health problems, and he was going to go to the hospital today at 2 o'clock as soon as I dropped him off at his place at a reasonable hotel where he apparently lives, and motel, whichever motel. Yes. He was going to go to the doctor because he's got problems. His liver was failing, he thought, because other things are happening, and obviously alcohol don't cure stuff like that or make it better, but it makes it feel better. And besides, that's where you meet your friends if you want friends. Anyway, so I'm sitting up there where I can get anywhere quickly. They call. I'm the only cab driver available. When they call, the dispatcher, he's on another run, and says our friend needs to go to the hospital. And I knew exactly where he was, in what apartment to look. I didn't have to call because I knew he'd be sitting out front waiting for me, because he always is. And I was there in 5 minutes and got him to St. Luke's in 6 or 7. And when I got there, he needed a wheelchair, and I opened the door and said, I've got the wheelchair. You have a patient. I'll take care of him, because I know how to do that too. So after I dropped off the gambler, I called the dispatcher who's driving, and he said he just wanted to make sure he had help during the bar rush, and it's 2:30. And he said, another 15 or so. If it looks good, he'd let me know. So I won't bog you down with the details of my gas consumption. I'll be buying more but I got paid $10 up front, as you recall, and my gas mileage thing on the Kia keeps telling me about 31.1. It's pretty consistent no matter what I do. Well, it averages, so it looks that way. That's how numbers work. I like math, don't you? My name's Jim. It's been a fun night. I could write scripts like this, but only because I've been a cab driver. I bet you couldn't. Peace.